league that looks like it's ready to get back to going is the NHL. As players are hitting the ice, there's no question about that. And then, of course, the NBA is still waiting to flush out all the details of how the teams are staying, where they're staying. Major League Soccer, of course, is going to be down there at Disney World as well. So all in all, we have a huge golf tournament this weekend. And that huge golf tournament, the Colonial, the Charles Schwab Challenge, is going to feature a lot of the big-name players. It's going to look like a major on the leaderboard, I can tell you that, because with the exception of Tiger Woods, pretty much everybody else is playing. A couple of international guys decided not to come across because they didn't want to go through the 14-day quarantine. But the Golf Channel will have that Thursday and Friday. And then, of course, CBS will have the broadcast on Saturday and Sunday. So, between that and NASCAR and UFC and Dana White's all over the place, I mean, he is gaining so much publicity and PR and marketing.
Smart, man.
It is.
One of the
it really is.
men in sports. You
can say whatever you want about him. You can say whatever you want about him. John Oliver can say whatever he wants about him. All I can tell you is that he's got his sport up and running, and he's got them moving around, and it seems like they are the headline on every sports website. And I give him credit for that because that's exactly what he should be doing. He should be trying to capitalize on the lack thereof of other leagues and the fighting going on between the players and the owners in baseball, all the fires that are going on in the NFL right now. It seems like UFC is the only one, and I'm sure PGA Golf will be that way when we start this weekend. And, of course, NASCAR that has their act together, and they're actually performing, and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, this will probably be the most real thing that I have seen, for me at least, since sports went away. The most realistic, we're almost close to normal thing on TV. Because I was thinking about it. The horse competition, obviously, I mean, come on, give me a break. I'm not the biggest UFC guy. The UFC situation with no fans, I did watch. Every time it's been on, I've caught a little bit of it. But fighting with no fans still seems weird. There's people with the masks everywhere. The Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Tiger, Phil thing was cool, and it was fun, and it was great. But it wasn't real sports. I really think, this PGA Tour event without fans is still going to look pretty real. It's going to look like what we're used to, just there's not going to be a bunch of people lined up, and you're not going to hear the crazy people in the back going, get off, and all the screaming that goes on. Outside of that, we're going to see big-name players. We're going to see a lot of them. They're going to be mic'd up. We're going to hear Jim Nantz. We're going to hear familiar voices and see familiar faces, and it's going to count. So that, to me, is more of a semblance of reality than anything we've had in sports in months.
Yeah, they're playing for big money, that's for sure. But, what's going on behind the scenes, and I made a few calls yesterday just to kind of get the lay of the land of the production part of it. It is a huge undertaking, much like it was kind of a huge undertaking to get us on air because you got to remember CBS Control is closed and has been closed. So they've had to really maneuver around, reconnect through different channels and everything else. And the engineers have been working their asses off to keep everybody on air. It's been an amazing 13 weeks in that regard. So now they're getting ready to go live here. And they're going to be using drones. They're going to be using half of the amount of people that they normally use when it comes to producing a golf tournament. Jim will be in the 18th tower by himself. Nick Faldo, Ian Baker Finch, and a couple of the other announcers are going to be in Orlando at the Golf Channel. Much like they're talking about Major League Baseball, if they do come back, and even Kevin Harlan said this yesterday, I believe that the announcers are going to be at the TNT studios in Atlanta doing the games off of monitors when the NBA starts. I'm not sure what the NHL is going to do with their announcers and things of that nature, but everybody's, I think practicing an abundance of caution and trying to keep the amount of people in one area as small as they possibly can and still pull off what will look like a top-notch, first-class golf presentation that CBS always puts on. So it's going to be interesting to see that part of it, and because I know the people behind the scenes and because I know the people that have been working so hard to try to figure all this out, I actually do have a very high level of intrigue and interest going into this weekend just to see it. The same thing for Thursday and Friday on the Golf Channel, by the way.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'm wondering what is going to matter to me as a viewer when these things start. Now, we've seen some golf already, how they did it with the challenge with the four guys, that it was great and all the communication. This is going to be different than that. It's not going to be as fun, not as much chops busting and all the stuff that goes on. But when hockey and basketball come back, will the lack of crowd noise or fake crowd noise, will that matter to me? Will I be able to tell that the announcers are not there? I mean, am I going to care about any of that? Probably not. I mean, I'll be so thrilled that I can watch some of this on TV that it won't really matter. But, I don't know. I mean, we've never watched sports the way that we're about to watch them when it comes to these major team sports and, of course, golf that we're going to see starting tomorrow. I mean, what is that going to be like? I just hope there isn't too much complaining coming from a man who, of course, has a master's degree in complaining. But I really don't. I don't want to hear a lot of complaining with this, because the undertaking that you're talking about, I mean, think of it. This has been months in the works to get something on TV for us to consume, and I don't want the viewing public to spit it back in the faces of all these people that have worked so hard to go, this isn't good enough. Whatever they give us with the stars in these leagues and these sports will be good enough for me.